Hey, what's going on YouTube? Joe here with Metafish. So that's the big announcement for this video. First time we're announcing it, you'll probably see some of the branding, the cover page, the profile picture on YouTube, also on Facebook if you check that out. We got a new logo. We think it's pretty cool. I'm going to try to have that all updated before this video comes out. This is kind of an impromptu video. I didn't plan on making one, but it's Friday night, sitting down here in the basement. It's not quite night. It's just got off work, and I got a glass of my buddy's homemade wine here. Shout out to Daryl, appreciate it. This stuff's awesome. He makes it himself. And yeah, so Metafish. You probably ask yourself, well, why did they choose Metafish? And I just really like the term, so I used to play video games, and meta is an acronym or a term that used to go around in video games. It kind of meant the most overpowered way to play the game. So if the warrior was stronger than the druid, the current meta, playing a warrior might have been swords instead of daggers or something like that. That was the meta, or a skill tree or something like that. So that's where I first heard the term meta. And it does mean evolved of a higher order, and the real definition of it means looking in on itself. So kind of hard to explain, kind of makes the brain think, but if you say, I just seen a movie about a film director making a movie, well that's meta, because it's about it's a movie about a movie, right? So that's kind of weird. That's not the reason we picked the name, but it kind of makes sense for what we want to represent. We want to enjoy fish for them being fish. We want them to be the best, most evolved type of fish that they can be, the happiest, healthiest fish possible. So that's my goal. That's what I want our business and company to represent. So Metafish, we got a new logo. I think it's pretty cool. A couple things that are coming up in my life. First of all, I just got done with my Christmas break, and thanks to everybody who came out and checked out the fish room for the first time. Had some great sales, got to meet some great people. It was just a lot of fun, and hearing how awesome people's fish are doing, seeing the pictures on Facebook, that really is awesome for me. So it's been great. So thanks to everybody who stopped over in the last couple of weeks. And tomorrow we have Fishy Bingo, Michigan Cichlid Association. You might say, what's Fishy Bingo? I don't want to get too deep into it, but it's bingo, and you can take fish for a bingo card, or you can pay $5 to get a card. Kids get a card for free. Members of the club get a card for free, your first card. And I think you can have up to 5 cards. I don't recommend 5 cards. I made that mistake before, taking my whole family. The kids love it. But basically, you just play bingo. They have different bingo games. They have 4 corners. They have triangle. Maybe not triangle, but they have T, where you have to make a T instead of just a line to get a bingo. And just normal bingo. And they call out numbers. You put your daubers on the card. And the first person to call out bingo gets to go pick a fish off the table. So I'm going to take some different fish around this room that somebody else can enjoy, and hopefully they're excited to get a bingo and take home those fish, and maybe I'll come home with something new also. So that's coming up tomorrow. So yeah, and then the other thing that's coming up is the GVAC, Grand Valley Aquarium Society, GVAS? I thought it was GVAC. They got a swap coming up at the end of January here, and I went to that last time. I got to meet LRB, Lucas Bretz, and Mike from the Fish Tank Barn, and that was just really cool seeing them in person. I'd already watched their videos, so if you guys see this video, give me a shout out. That'd be awesome. And I can't wait to go to this swap. There's just so many people that go there. Met a ton of really cool people. They just want to chat fish and kind of pick your brain. It was just a really good setup. The tables were awesome. It's a big room, so I'm excited to go to this one again and just see what everybody's got. I'll hopefully buy some plants and stuff that I've been looking for myself. So without further ado, this video is already going to be long. Let's shoot through the fish room. I'll show you what I got going on. the progress I've made in the last couple months, and just what we have available here in the fish room right now. Still not focusing real hard on selling. If anybody wants to come over and do local pickup, that's great. As far as shipping goes, you know, the holidays are over now, so I might put some of the stuff back on eBay, but that's a lot of work shipping out fish, as anybody knows, and I'd rather just be focusing on the fish in the fish room and just getting some stuff done that way. So I know that's a lot, big intro, but yeah, let's jump into it. Take another drink of my homemade wine here. So this is my newest rack, and it consists of 14 20-gallon longs. Those are the first two rows here, and then 7 29 gallons, and then on the end I just put in 3 5 gallons. So my apologies, I gotta work this tripod around here. So I bleached this tank and the bottom tank just to make sure there wasn't any disease left in the tank. So they're just sitting. I still have to rinse them a couple more times. They've already had one rinse, and that's just a safeguard for me, just to make sure I know I'm not introducing any disease into a brand new tank. I moved my shrimp tank over here. These are my Bloody Mary shrimp, and the camera's not focusing that well. A lot of glare on this rack. And I put in 2 more LED lights, and those are Aquaneat 4-foot, the older style LEDs. I like them a lot. You don't see any glare. The camera picks up glare, but if you're in the fish room, you don't see any of the glare. And I have, these are the blue-green metallic guppies. These were actually all babies when I put them in here, and they were babies from my choice pairs, which there's a few in here that I just really liked. And what I'm shooting for is like this guy right here. He's got that metallic red on the top and bottom of his tail. I lost him. So I'm working on this strain of guppy. I'm trying to take some of the best males and put them in here with some of the best looking females. That female's definitely a little bit different. And yeah, 2 tanks of the same type of guppy. Up here is a single gold angelfish. He was picking on the other angelfish, so I separated him. He is awfully picky. He doesn't eat flake food. All he eats is the brine shrimp when I put him in here. So I really want to kick him of that habit. This is the male albino paradise fish. So I did recently put the male and this female here together in hopes that they would build a bubble nest. And they looked very interested. And they weren't super aggressive towards each other because they are betas, and domestic violence is pretty high with beta fish when you put a male with a female. But these guys weren't bad, but I did end up separating them because I didn't see the breeding behavior that I wanted. But anyways, yeah, so they're taking up 2 20 longs, just them 2. These are the rainbow fish I picked up at the GVAC auction. These are the threadfin rainbows. Hopefully this... There we go. Come on, focus in, camera. But I got these really small. It was a whole bag of 40 of them. I wish it would focus in on these guys, but it's not. But they're really great. They're doing great on brine shrimp, eating flake as well, as long as it's small enough pieces. And a lot of snails in this tank. There's 2 other gold angelfish in here. These guys don't pick on each other like the other one that I had to separate. And I'm sorry you have to see my bald head in the reflection here. And these are 2 koi angels, which I absolutely love. They're doing great, eating well. And these are all yellow blaze lithobates. I think there's probably too many in here. They've doubled in size since I put all the fry in here. And yeah, doing real well, looking good. And one thing I did on this rack is I finally finished up most of my tops. So these are command hooks, and this is double polycarbonate lids. And just like the video I made a couple months ago, I taped the edges. Let's see if I can do this while holding my drink. So I took this extra strength packing tape. You can kind of see that on the edges here. And that's so that the water can't get in between the walls of the lids. So they're super light, really durable, really easy to feed. You can just stick your finger up there, feed them, drop the lid back down. So I got a couple more to go. Those are upstairs, so I've been working on those whenever I take a little break and want to watch a YouTube video. So I have them all cut. I just have to finish trimming up the edges and blowing out the dust in between them. They take more time, my advice, than just give yourself enough time if you want to make something like this. It always takes longer than you think, especially if you're making 24 of them like I did. So let's see, I got this tripod on here. It's going to be kind of a weird angle here for you guys, but we'll get the camera down here. These are blue dolphins mixed with Apache peacock and Dimidochromis compressicep, or actually Dimidochromis strigatus. So there's some unique hybrids in here. And then hybrids in here, these are dragon bloods. And there's a really nice one in here I'd love to show you guys if he'll come out and show himself. Yeah, right here. Hopefully it will. That guy right there in the middle. So apologies that you're looking at these at an angle right now, but my tripod's kind of getting in my way. So that guy's really cool. He's got that blue, and he's not even colored up really right now. And I just noticed there's another one in there with that color pattern. And these are blue dolphins. I got lots of blue dolphins. In here, I sold this tank. This was yellow dragon bloods. So there's just a handful of yellow dragon bloods that did not express the dragon blood gene. And in this tank, it's a Tanganyikan tank with Trets. So that's what those guys are. They look like miniature Frontosas. And there are also, I don't know if I'll be able to get them, these guys right here. Those are, I'm not even going to be able to think of it right now. Neolamprologus cygnus. And they're starting to get pretty good size. They look small because, again, these are all 29-gallon tanks. And this is a Brichardi, white Brichardi type cichlid. Really nice patterning on him. He was the only survivor out of 5 that I got as little teeny tiny half-inch juveniles. These guys are all Geophagus red-headed Tapajos I'm growing out. Probably about 30 or 40 of them in there. And okay, I can stand up again. These are my fire Ugandas. These are Lake Victorian. And you can see over here, she's holding a whole mouthful of eggs. And 2 of them are actually holding in here. And this is the male. So he's not showing too much fire right now, but he'll get real bright red. These are my Crebensis, standard Crebensis. Beautiful, amazing community fish. The parental care really caught me by surprise. I didn't think I would like this fish that much, but watching them raise babies, really loved them. I would recommend these for anybody as a starter type fish, community setup, as long as your tank is big enough, because they do get a little bit nippy and aggressive when they're protecting their fry. But, you know, as long as you got a 40-gallon tank or the same footprint, similar, I think they would go, a pair would be just a lot of fun for anybody in their standard community tank. And this stool's kind of in the way, but in here I have, of course I'm not going to remember them, but they held for me twice, and the tank's a little dirty. I apologize for that. I got to get in here. And these are a Lake Malawi species. I think they're Mabuna. They call these males marmalade cat. There's 2 of them with that patterning in there. Or I believe it's a marmalade cat. I'm not 100%. And the big male's hiding from me. He's in the back there. But I think these are the Mapanga Reds. And then here, these guys are starting to finally come out when I feed, especially. These are the yellow compressor, yellow Calvis. And doing really well. they're finally starting to put on some size. They're probably 2 inches now. So that guy's really awesome. They're all really nice, super healthy. I lost 8 of them when I first got them. They are really susceptible to water change differences, and I didn't know that. So I only do about a 20% water change. It is on an automatic water change. So water will come out of that nozzle up there. We'll go over that in a different video, but this is just a fish room tour. Anyways, moving on, there's a lot of tanks to get through here. Here are my koi breeding pair. They are finally starting to do better. She had some sort of internal parasite going on. So I treated them with Metro as well as levamisole, and she seems to be eating a lot better now. She still has some weight to put on. They haven't bred for me in probably a month and a half. They used to breed every 2 weeks, and she got sick. I'm still not 100% sure what happened, but they're clearing up now. So I've been trying to keep their tank extra clean, do a little bit of extra water changes every 3 days, 20% every 3 days. And look, she's getting interested finally. Is your tube down? Hard to say. She's picking at that slate though. So that's the best, this is the best they've looked in probably 2 months for me. I love them, they're beautiful. I just wish they'd give me another chance to artificially raise some fry. And yeah, we're gonna have bent camera again for any bottom tanks. My this tank's a little bit cloudy because I just put zucchini in here. You can see that pleco picking at that piece of zucchini. The zucchini's been in here since last night, so I'm probably going to give them another 6 to 8 hours of eating, and then I'll take that out. But yeah, my super red breeding colony is doing good. They've produced a couple batches of fry. No huge clutches, but probably 50 fry in the last 3-4 months, so that's great. Down here, these guys are really starting to come into their own. These are the Christmas Fulu. Look at the size on these guys. And when I got them, they were big. They came from the GVAC auction as well. And I really like them. I know they're in a little too small of a tank for their size, but they are getting along well. They're eating everything I throw in the tank. And that filter is a little dirty. I need to clean that. So I will be doing more tank maintenance here today. So there's a ton of things I could go over. I kind of want to go over those tops that I have over there. Lulupi, these guys could use a little bit of a spot cleaning. They have a little bit of algae buildup, but they're doing great. They're not breeding for me, but I do enjoy them. And I think they enjoy being in the tank. They eat real good. I try to give them a little mix of frozen foods once in a while. And hopefully I'll get some babies out of them soon. A couple of them are showing some territorial behavior in this corner. I'm hoping they picked a spot to lay some eggs. So yeah, more blue dolphins down here. These guys are getting pretty big. I've sold a few out of here at super sale. I've been selling these at like $5 an inch. So some of these, they might not look it, but they're all of 3.5 inches, some of them. It's a 75-gallon tank. Up here are the cuttery. These guys are doing really good. These are the adults. I don't really have much of an interest in breeding these because I haven't seen a ton of interest in people purchasing these. But for people with community tanks, sorry, there's a ton of glare right there. People do buy 1 or 2 here and there, and that's fine with me if I can shorten their numbers. They're super healthy, really nice fish. Their blue eyes are really spectacular, especially when you see them in person. Very pretty fish, and they change colors drastically when they go into breeding dress. The males turn, or I think it's the males, turn completely white with, you can kind of see their vertical lines going through their body, but nobody's in breeding dress right now, so I can't show that to you. This tank's dirty, needs a clean. I'm going to do that tonight. These are my, they're actually, well, they're ruby reds, but these would actually be F2s from wild Bologna Cara, and I forget. This wine tastes really good, by the way. So, been selling some males out of here when they start looking good. There's a few getting some good color in them that are definitely males. These are about 2.5, 3 inches, but you can see there's a ton. The thing about that tank is only a couple of them will actually color up for me at a time. Then when I sell those, a couple more will color up. So these are my flamebacks. Looking pretty good. There's probably too many males in here. Got a few babies from them, but I don't see anybody holding right now. These are the Eastern Happy Blue strain. All these tanks could use a little bit of a cleaning. And I apologize, the camera's not really focusing in on these guys very good. And these are the Hippo Point Salmon. There are definitely, those 2 females in the back are holding, so I'll probably get those fry out. And they're a little skittish right now. They're like, what are you holding? That is not normal. It's a camera, guys. Calm down. It's just a camera. So, yeah, she's holding a big mouthful there. You can see her lower jaw distended there. And the colored male, yeah, I just seen him take off here. It's trying to hide from me. Really cool fish, that pink salmon color. Really nice. And then down here, these guys are all going to hide from me. There's only 3 fish in here, and the pleco. And these are the Victoria multicolor. So there's the male right there. So really cool. I wish it would focus in a little better. They have the blue lips, and he is just chilling out right now. He's got 2 females in here. There's one of the females, and they actually gave me some babies, and the babies are starting to get a little bigger, so we'll see those. So that is fish room number 1. This is going to be a long video. Whew, I need a drink. Alright, so here's my VC10 tank. I just got this guy from Dylan, brought him to me. He thinks this is a male, and I tend to agree. He's doing awesome. He was in here eating on the zucchini yesterday when I put that in. So Dylan, your VC10's a zucchini eater. And in here's also a Sunshine Banga and a Dragon Blood female. So these guys bred for me, and that's what created the yellow Dragon Bloods that I had and sold. And down here, these guys are a little hidey, but these are Yellow Blaze litho baits. They're not, these ones are Z-Rock, the females, and then these are blue dolphins. So these are the biggest blue dolphins that I'm trying to hang on to for a future breeding group if I need them. And a really nice zebra obliquidin right in the middle there. So there goes the male. He doesn't have a great coloring, probably because the other fish that are in there. But all right, so here is my 10-gallon rack. I believe there's 7 tanks on each level. 10 gallons top, 10 gallons on the bottom, and then a 100-gallon down below. 100 gallons, my favorite fish still, Tropheus duboisii maswas. These guys haven't bred for me in a month and a half, but I haven't really been giving them the attention they deserve. But they're all healthy, doing good, putting on a little bit of weight. No issues. So I am thankful for that. I love them. They're super personable fish. These are the Kudarai babies that I raised. Oh, there's my ugly mug. Oh, the glare. So those guys are getting pretty big. Down here, more blue dolphins, of course. This is a cherry shrimp tank. And there's more shrimp in there than it looks like. These are a Victorian. I can usually remember the name, but not today. And blue dolphins. And these are ruby red fry. There's usually one male in here that's all colored up. These right there, there's the colored male. So those are ruby greens. And these are Eastern Happy fry. And for some reason, these ones aren't growing as fast as the ones in the breeder box. These are Eastern Happies too. And these ones are really starting to show their colors and everything. So I do apologize that this camera's not focusing very well lately. I wonder what the deal is. Alright, let's move on. I have some yellow guppies that are starting to produce some fry, starting to get some decent yellow patterns, so I'm working on this strain, yellow and white guppies. But I'm shooting for more of the neon yellow color. And similar over here, except some of these are actually showing a snakeskin pattern. Come on, camera. What is the issue? Maybe this will help. So yeah, yellow guppies, these are snakeskin endlers. And some of them are really nice, especially when I get a high quality picture. And then I also have more snakeskin endlers down here. And I'm trying to do Java moss and Christmas moss in each tank. And I'm having a pretty high success rate on fry surviving. And this tank is packed full of what I believe is Christmas moss. And these are blue Moscow guppies. And I have 2 or 3 tanks of the blue Moscows. Really love them. One of my favorite guppies. Eventually I would like to try to... They were sold to me as purple Moscows. They're obviously not purple. See, that would be a darker male. He might be more purple, but I would need to work on this line quite a bit. And these are more, they're mostly mutt guppies, but they all came from the blue-green metallic line. So you can tell some of them are what I'm looking for, like that red on top and bottom, plus blue going through them. They're really pretty fish, but they do not breed true right now. Like that guy right there, he is not breeding. He is not what I'm looking for, but a very pretty fish nonetheless. So if anybody's looking for some nice guppies and you just want them to be pretty and just handpick some, come on over. And these are red delta guppies. These are just all kinds of mutt guppies basically. I shouldn't even call them red deltas. There are a lot of different varieties in here, but very pretty. Some people just sit here and stare at these guppies for quite a while, and I can see it. They are nice, enjoyable. And these are also reds. Some different color patterns in here. Very nice mutt guppies. So if anybody's really interested in buying some of these, shoot me a message. We can figure something out. I got 72-hour heat packs. I'd be willing to ship you some of these nice guppies here. Make room for more grow out babies. Oh yeah, I already showed you the blue dolphin, so moving on. A lot of babies. So I got fire red Ugandas. So that's one thing I'm learning is when you have this many fish and you have people come over, if they see that you have a lot of something, it makes them want it less, which is really kind of silly. It doesn't mean the fish is any less valuable or any worse of a fish, but they want the stuff that, oh, you only have one of or something like that. I don't know why that happens. This breeder box is also yellow blaze lithobates. These are the Eastern Happies. Really love that fish. Really a cool fish, especially with that black that goes through their eye. And these are Geophagus redhead Tapajos. These will be the last ones that I get because my adults, my male adult came down with Calaminus worms, and I was not happy about that. So I treated the tank, and I think that's the only tank that was affected. At least I got my fingers crossed. Blue dolphin babies, fire red Uganda babies. These I just stripped yesterday. These are Protomelis spilontaneus Tanzania babies. Really beautiful fish. It's a hap. Looks a lot like a peacock. I'll show you the adults here in a second. And these are the flameback babies that really need to go to a bigger container. They grew really fast. And these are Hippo Point salmon babies and Dimidochromis strigatus babies. Blue dolphins, more blue dolphins for days. Fire red Ugandas. You know, the container is scummy, it's got algae on it, but I think the fish enjoy it because they don't see you and get as freaked out. These are Apache hybrids, and there's actually 3 albinos in here, which I am excited to see what they turn out to be. Got to get them into a bigger container here pretty soon, but they grow really nice in those breeder boxes for me. So a couple Tropheus Chipimbis up here. These right here, and they'll probably hide because I just stripped their babies yesterday. These are the Spilontaneous Tanzania, the Protomelis, and there is the big male in the back there. Ooh. And you can see the orange on the bottom, and he's not in full breeding dress right now, but he still looks pretty nice. And blue all the way on the top, but a very distinct like a burnt orange on the bottom of them. Very nice hat. I got those from Scott McKenzie. Shout out to Scott. Thanks for the fish, man. They're all doing real well for me. And these would be the ruby reds that I have, the breeding group. And they always, all these fish come out for feeding time, but they're gonna hide today. And these are my Taiwan reefs. This guy is finally showing some, no, that's not the dominant male. Right here. I think they're gonna breed for me here any day now. Starting to get to the right size. So that's a beautiful fish too. Really like those guys. That's a thumbnail right there. He is showing off today. What a beauty. So I shout out to Chad Marsh. Sorry to say your name over, but yeah, he bought a couple of my extra male of these guys, and I think that's making a difference. You can see the colors on that guy. So, all right, moving on. I just can't get these guys healthy. They're all. It's not that they're not healthy, but they're skinny, and I've treated them with medication, and hopefully this is still recording. And some of them are just still skinny, and I treated them with levamisole, thinking, hey, maybe they actually do have something like a worm. They're doing all right, though. I mean, I've had them for 8 months, something like that. And a couple of plecos down here. It looks like they stopped eating on the zucchini, but. And these are my blue dolphins. Look at it. He's protecting his females right there. He's all of 9-10 inches. Beautiful fish. I've had him for 2 years now, and he was full grown when I got him. And he's got all 3 of his ladies holding babies right now. So I probably won't even strip them, but they are still breeding. And he got sick not too long ago. He wasn't eating food, he was spitting it out. And did some water changes, treated with Metro. And he slowly came back, and now he's back to his former glory. So he's got that, I think they call it a nautical hump. And here's my big tank. Probably could use another water change, just as did one last week. And the Oscar does not like anything out of the ordinary. He is a grumpy guy. And I know you're not supposed to have Oscars. There's 2 of them in here. This is an albino Oscar. And yeah, there's a little bit of algae on the tank. I'll get that cleaned up. And you can tell these fish are all fat because they are faster than the Oscar when it comes to getting pellets. And they get big pellets because the Oscar is so big. And this is my Dragon Blood breeder that I got some of those babies from. He's getting big. He's probably 5.5, 6 inches. And this is what I believe to be a very fat, this is the female, Dimidochromis strigatus. Because you can kind of see the red on the side. And these are the ones that bred for me. And before I sell them as Dimidochromis strigatus, I'm going to verify that that's what they are. but they do not look like Dimidochromis compressicep. And when I bought them, I bought a group of them from the pet store, and they were, I believe, Dimidochromis strigatus. They were not a hybrid. There was a tank full of them. So yeah, that's them. And these guys are gonna hide from me now. These guys are awesome when you feed them. These are the Tropheus chipimbis, starting to get some size to them. Getting 1.5, 2 inches. Really awesome, but they don't know what I'm doing right now. They say he's acting weird. He's being weird. But love these guys. Hopefully we'll get a nice breeding colony out of them soon. There's some like 38 of them in here. Doesn't look like it. So going sideways on you again. These are a Mabuna. These are the Interruptus. I forget the full scientific name. These are Protomylus spontaneous Tanzanias. They've been breeding really well for me, so I have extras of those. These are random fish that I caught that jumped out of the tank, and I am not 100% sure what they are. So they all get to live together. If I wanted to, I could probably separate them out. I can pretty much tell what they are now that they've grown up a little bit more. More Interruptus babies over here. Really beautiful. Love them. So I give them a little bit of cover in their breeding box, and that seems to help. And these are Nairii females. There's one male who's kind of beat up. I don't know what that is. That's an escapee. So this is a one-eyed male. Where is he? Right here. He lost his eye, and he got skinny. But he's still hanging in there. He still eats a lot of food, and I did treat it with Metro, trying to kill any parasites, but I just don't think he gets his share of food. With only having one eye, he's not what he used to be. But that's okay. I'm not looking to breed these guys anyways. They're just kind of living their life in that 75 gallon. And continuing on, there's a long video. Tropheus duboisii maswas in 3 of my breeding boxes, which I will get them into a bigger tank shortly. So these are Tropheus duboisii maswas. And yeah, what a beautiful fish. How awesome that they have that spotted coloring when they're little. And then when they're big, they get those big blue heads and the yellow stripe running through their body. They totally lose their spots. So I don't know what my camera's doing. I apologize. There we go. So yeah, these are the multicolored Victoria babies. Starting to get some size to them. They were super small when I got them. When they hatched, actually, the eggs were very small. So they're doing well. And yeah, I might as well show all the bad with the good. So there is a little bit of Hydra in this tank, so I'm trying to clear that out. If anybody has a medical treatment cure for Hydra, let me know. Can't even really see it on the camera. I did just get done cleaning the Hydra out of here. But I hear blue gouramis work really good. Shout out to Anthony Naples for that tip. And I have a handful of fish in here, so that is a ruby green Victorian male in there. He's got all kinds of color for days. I zoomed in on him here when the glass isn't dirty. And yeah, I got one tumbler going with some babies. These would be more of the yellow dragon bloods. I'm hoping they turn out like the last ones that I got. And these are my biggest juvenile Protomylus spontaneous. You know, everybody's doing good, so I have no complaints. These are just a handful of ruby reds with hippo point salmon, and I have them together in this box because they were small spawns. And I can easily tell them apart. They're very, very different body shapes, so I can put them in the same breeder box. And I am working. So I'm going to put a couple more 10 gallons here when I get the work done. But instead I decided to make a video here today. These are blue dolphins that probably need to be upgraded a little bit. My brine shrimp containers, and then this used to be my Daphnia container, which right now is sitting vacant. I think there's just a few snails in there. And I have a couple fish in quarantine here. And a blue dragon, not a blue dragon blood, a red shoulder peacock, and an OB. And so these are the Interruptus. So that's the male right there. Really pretty fish. And then the females stay yellow like their babies. So they all start yellow. So this could be a sleeper male. He's starting to have some color there. And this is definitely a female. And then this would be definitely a male. So super nice fish. I've sold the males for as much as $45, $50 before because I had too many males. And they're really not that aggressive for a Mbuna, my honest opinion. And then this is another Nairi male. He has looked better, but he's doing fine in there. So I got Victorians with Mbunas and peacocks as well. There's a few peacocks in there too. And that's a 60-gallon tank. And then we got my Tropheus green Moragos. I am praying that any day these guys will breed for me. They have shown a lot of breeding behavior, and the ratio, I think, what do I got written down here? 4 to 10. So there's supposedly 4 males in here and 10 females. Just really fun fish. And I don't have a good light on this tank right now, but these are Tropheus elangi. Yeah, I just checked them. They were holding eggs, and I didn't end up getting any out of them. I don't know if she swallowed them or what, but these are their offspring. These are also Tropheus elangi. They will get more yellow than this. Some of them still have their juvenile colors, but they're getting pretty good size. 2.5, 3 inches. Super nice. They're in a 110-gallon tank, 2 foot wide by 4 foot long. And these are extra male Tropheus elangi, and there's a single male Tropheus chipimbi in here as well. And yeah, so extra males. And then I also have extra male green Moragos down here, this 75-gallon tank. And I had a little bit of an incident, so I don't have the light on this tank right now. But these are Sunshine Bangas. Some of them are starting to get a little bit of color. They are probably 1 inch to 2 inch right now. And a lot of them in that 75-gallon tank with Valsinaria plants in the back. At first they were really picking on the Valsinaria, but now they've really calmed down. They let it grow. So yeah, so this is what happened. Let me take a drink here. These blue dolphins, I was cleaning their tank 2 days ago. It's been 2 days now. So watch this. This is pretty cool. You can take my hand. Hey, what's up, guys? Now they're not doing it too much, but when you have food, they will follow you like a hawk. And this is a 110-gallon tank, so it's pretty deep. And I was cleaning the tank, cleaning the box filters, and I did a pretty big water change. It was probably like 70%. So when I went and did that, I put these box filters back in the tank, and I walked away and went to bed. When I came down the next morning, I'm like, what's that sound? And it was like a loud bubbling sound. Well, these box filters, there wasn't enough media, get out of the way, or stones in the box filter to really hold them down, because you know when you do a big water change, you'll get air bubbles around stuff, and your sponge filters will float. Well, your box filters will too. And I have so much air coming out of these box filters. They had both come to the top of the tank, and in the back here, my cover is not airtight. There's an opening right here. Well, they both came up right where that opening is, and they were just spewing water up and out of my tank. So I got fans running right now. It's almost dry in here, but the tank level was probably down to about here. I mean, it was probably 20 gallons of water that these things shot out of my tank. So not a disaster. It's not as bad as when I came down here and the floor is wet. I was freaking out, like, what is going on? It could have been worse, but that's something I never expected. So just a little tip out there for you. That can happen if your sponge filter or box filter, you do a water change and it floats up to the top of the tank. It can spill a lot of water out. I mean, these things move a lot of water depending on how much airflow you got going through them. So, finishing up the tour real quick here. These are Geophagus braziliani, also known as the pearl cichlid. doing awesome for me. Getting big. I got to do a quick water change on this tank as well. And I hear they're a good community fish. They love to sift the sand. They're a cave spawner from what I heard. They haven't shown much breeding behavior for me yet, but they do get bigger than this. They will get, I believe, 8 to 10 inches, maybe bigger. But they are really iridescent. This guy's, he's been fighting a little bit. His back tail's a little beat up. But they're really pretty in person. They have just that iridescence. That's why they nicknamed them like the pearl scale. This guy's just doesn't show up on camera. And really like them. So they're in a 40-gallon tank. Working down here, I'm going to get a light, some more 10 gallons, and I'll have more fry tanks down here very soon. Alright, moving over. That's all my storage over there. That's just tool storage. I got my hunting and fishing supplies on the shelves. But this is a 100-gallon guppy tank. So these are all the fish from my pond. I need to go ahead and get my other pond video out online, even though it's winter time now. But this tank is packed full of hornwort and Valsinaria. And these guppies just go nuts. They are fun to watch because there's probably 1,000 of them in here. I'd say every bit of 500. And I don't know why they're looking so yellow in the camera right now, because they're not yellow. But really fun tank. Just a lot of guppies, a lot of duckweed. So it's actually, I scoop this duckweed out and go feed it to my goldfish upstairs. He loves it. He will clean up a big scoop of duckweed, like a net full, in like 2 days. So in the next video I'll have to show you my upstairs tanks too, but this video is too long now. And I know these guys are hiding. So these are the white labs, Nakata Bay. And there's also another Victorian in here that I don't think I have a male for. I got 5 females, I think. But okay, let's wrap it up here. So check out Metafish, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it wasn't a boring fish room tour. I went through a lot of stuff. There's a million things I still want to go over. And till next time, cheers.